Earlier this week, I put out an Instagram post that said, "Are premium bonds worth it?" Turns out a lot of people have heard of premium bonds, but likewise, they didn't really know how they worked. Today, I'm going to give you a full explanation of premium bonds. My name is Charlotte Jessup, and this is the Looking After Your Pennies YouTube channel. Here I talk about everything from budgeting, making money, saving money, to investing, pensions, and more. My mission is to bring financial education to you so that you have the tools, knowledge, and resources to make smart decisions around your money. Premium bonds are one of those topics that everybody seems to have a story about. We've all had some sort of dealings with premium bonds at some point in our lives. I was given some premium bonds when I was born by relatives and friends of the family. And I think I maybe won like once or twice in that period. You might have a similar story. A story about how you were given premium bonds as a child. But there are lots of people who are now adults that are choosing to buy premium bonds. But why? So this video is going to explore the answer to that question. Here are the things that I'm going to cover. Number 1, what are premium bonds? Number 2, what prizes are available? Number 3, what are the odds of winning? Number 4, what role can they have in a healthy money management system? And then number 5 is I'm going to finish up with a kind of cautionary tale from my own experience. Before I jump into that though, I need you to know that this is not financial advice. The purpose of this video is not to tell you what to do with your money, but to show you the options that exist out there. Finance is personal, so you need to make the decisions that are right for you and for your financial situation. What are premium bonds then? Premium bonds are an investment product, I use the word investment very lightly here, issued by NS&I, National Savings and Investments. They were launched in November 1956 as a way to encourage people to start saving again after the war. On the first day that they launched, people bought over £5 million worth of premium bonds, which is equivalent to £121 million in today's value. Now, they are different from an ordinary savings account. They don't pay you interest for starters. Instead, every £1 of premium bonds that you own is treated as a raffle ticket, I suppose. And every month, that raffle ticket is entered into a draw where you could potentially win one of many prizes that are out there. The current prizes range from £25 all the way up to £1 million. This means that you could win a lot of money, but you are more likely to win just a little bit or nothing at all. But I'm going to come to that a little bit later on and cover it in a bit more detail. One of the good things about premium bonds is that they are government backed. This means that your money is just about as safe as it can be if you have it in premium bonds. So number 2 is what prizes are available. So let's take a look at the prizes that are available and how many of them are up for grabs each month. So let's start with that million. Each month, premium bonds makes 2 people millionaires. Now, this is assuming that they're not millionaires already. Essentially, it just means that there are 2 £1 million prizes up for grabs each month. Take a look at this table from NS&I. It shows you the rough numbers of people that are winning each of these prizes every month. There are some big prizes to be won, but you have to remember that there are a lot of people with a lot of money in premium bonds. There are 22 million people in the UK who hold premium bonds, with a total value of more than £107 billion. Even though there are 3 million prizes given out each month, there are still 107 billion tickets that aren't won, or people that don't win any money. So what are the odds of winning then? Well, there are 2 ways you can look at this. The first way to do this is look at the odds of winning per each £1 invested. This is the easiest way to look at it, but it's probably not the most accurate. And this is because most people have more than £1 worth of investment. Actually, the minimum amount that you can even have is £25. So that means that even the person with the fewest amount of premium bonds still has 25 tickets into this raffle. So let's have a look at the odds for each £1 entered. So the chance of each of those £1 worth of premium bonds winning the million is 1 in 54 billion. So that's not particularly great odds. If instead we look at the odds of you winning £25 based on each £1 that you have invested, then obviously the odds improve. And what you get is that you have a 1 in 34,500 chance of winning £25. Still not great, but it's getting better. But what then if you base it on the amount that you have invested with them instead? Now, the published prize rate, which is about as close as we can get to comparing something to say interest rates that you get in savings accounts, is 1%. Now, this might sound pretty good, particularly when you compare it to savings accounts and the interest rates that they're getting at the moment, but in reality, most people are getting nothing. The median prize value is £0. Now, if you've forgotten what the median is, it's what we get if we line all of the prize winners up, or everybody, and the amount that they won as a prize, and we pick the person in the middle. So if you took everybody that has premium bonds, lined them all up, the person in the middle would have won £0. So that's what we mean by the median prize value. So this means that over 50% of the people that have premium bonds get nothing. And actually, I don't think you start to get many winners until you get to around the 70% of the population mark. But your chance of winning does depend on how much you have invested with them. If you have £100 worth of premium bonds, or even £1,000 worth of premium bonds, the median prize value for these people is still £0. So once we get past that, we're actually looking at fairly significant amounts of money. Once you hit £10,000, the median prize value then is £75. Obviously, there are still some people that get nothing, and there are going to be people that get a lot more than that, but that's the median, the one in the middle. Now, that figure is per year. So what this works out at is an average annual prize return of 0.75%. That's not a bad return on that money when you compare it to the interest rates in savings accounts, but you need to have 10 grand in there to be considering those figures. If you have more money invested, so you have £16,000, then the average return in a year is around £150. So again, this is the median. When you calculate this as a percentage of the amount that's invested, it comes in at 0.93%. Again, better than what you're getting in a savings account, but still not that amazing. Obviously, these figures are closer to the published annual prize average rate, whatever they want to call it, of 1%, but we're still not quite there. And for most people, particularly those with less than 10,000, they're going to get nothing. At this point, I want to say a big thank you to the money saving expert for publishing these figures and doing the maths for me so that I didn't have to. If you want to know more information or look at the figures yourself, please do go check that website. I've linked the article below in the description. So what role can premium bonds have in a healthy money management system? So given this information, why are people still using them? Why are they still putting their money into premium bonds? Well, I suspect that people do it because they mostly like the chance that they might win $1 million. And essentially it doesn't cost them anything to do it. But they do have some other perks too. The first is that this is a safe place to store your money. Because they are government backed, it's about just as safe as you can get for your cash. However, most bank accounts and savings accounts have a good level of protection anyway, so this shouldn't be a deciding factor as to somewhere that you might want to keep your money. They're also tax-free, so any winnings that you get from your premium bonds, you do not have to pay any tax on that. Again though, if we look at savings accounts, most interest on savings accounts will be tax-free for the majority of people. And when we look at investments, we have options like ISAs to prevent us from paying too much tax on our investments too. So again, this shouldn't be much of a swaying factor when deciding whether premium bonds are right for you. Ultimately, in my personal opinion, premium bonds are a pretty terrible way to get rich. They're not going to make the significant majority of people wealthy. Those odd people that win the million, maybe, but not the majority. They can, however, be a good place to store your emergency funds. This is money that you need to be able to access easily, but you don't want to risk investing it in case it loses value, or you need to take it out when the market is low, and again, that costs you money. The only place that you can buy premium bonds is through National Savings and Investments, NS&I, and I have linked their website in the description. You are able to make a single payment into premium bonds or set up a monthly direct debit so you can have money move in there every month if this is something you decide is right for you. So part 5 of this video is my cautionary tale. So to highlight my point about premium bonds being a bad place to get wealthy, but a good place for keeping your money safe, I have a little story for you. So a relative of mine passed away a few years ago, and when they passed, we discovered that they had £1,000 worth of premium bonds. Now these premium bonds have been bought back in the 60s. And for context, the average house price at that time was around £2,000. So this was a big amount of money, or a fairly significant amount of money at the time. But when they passed in 2017, those premium bonds were still worth £1,000. Yes, they had a few small winnings over those 50, 60 years, but nothing major, nothing life-changing. Now, let's compare that to what would have happened if maybe that money had been invested elsewhere. Let's look at the stock market. Now, you can use historical information for this. We know what happened in the stock market because we're looking at past performance to calculate these figures. So if that £1,000 had been invested rather than put into premium bonds, then it would have been worth between £40,000 to £50,000 at the point when they passed away. We could also look at what would happen if maybe they'd invested that money into property. Obviously, we know that the house market did really well in that period of time. And let's say that they bought like a flat or something that was worth around £1,000 or half of an average home. At the time they passed, the average home was worth around £240,000. So if we'd said they'd had half of that, then that money could have grown to maybe £120,000. Obviously, there were a lot of variables in this, but it shows that actually what they got back in premium bonds was £1,000. It was still £1,000. That money hadn't grown despite the winnings over that period of time. If it had been put to other uses, it could have grown into something much more. So there you have it. That is my premium bonds explanation, and I hope that you found it useful today. I hope I've given you some insight into how they work and how they may or may not be useful to your financial situation. Don't forget that you can find me over on my social media channels where I am posting new content daily to help you manage your money. And there's always that subscribe button. It costs nothing and you will be really supporting me and this channel. You can also hit the like and leave me a comment. Do you have premium bonds and how much money have you won? I'm on the hunt to find somebody that has won that million. So if you know somebody, I would love to hear from them. A big thank you for watching today, and I will catch you in the next video that's coming out in a couple of days. Bye.